Thanks a lot for staying with us. The big news and update that we're tracking right now, India and China agreeing on a complete disengagement at the line of actual control. This development is also coming after NSA Ajit Doval and Chinese foreign minister have spoken, have had a lengthy conversation and have agreed that both sides should strictly respect and observe the line of actual control and should not take any unilateral actions to alter status quo and work together to avoid any incident in the future that could disturb the peace and tranquility in the border areas. Remember, there have been several co-commander level talks that India and China have already held, but it was perhaps felt that Chinese were not getting the message after those talks because they happened before the Galwan clash as well and have continued since as well. But now with the NSA level talks also taking place, there seems to be now finally an understanding and a relenting from the Chinese side as well. In the face of very stiff position that has been maintained by India, one, that it's not going to be cowing down as far as Chinese illegitimate demands of no infrastructure advancement on the Indian side of the LAC is concerned, and also of trying to unilaterally change the LAC status quo. Sriram Chalia, Republic contributor, International Affairs, is also joining us. The NSA and Chinese foreign minister holding lengthy discussions. We've got a new statement now also, Sriram, that really breaks down the intent and the extent of the disengagement that has been planned between India and China. How do you read into the latest statements? This is, of course, China now finally understanding the message that is coming from India and perhaps also understanding and realizing that this is not going to take them too far. If they continue to try to hold this face-off with India, it is not going to yield the results that they were hoping for, perhaps.
Shivani, Narendra Modi government adopted a multi-pronged strategy to push back the Chinese aggression. On one hand, we valiantly fought hand-to-hand combat and gave them a bloody nose. Secondly, we maintained the force positioning and enhanced our preparedness for any further misadventure by the Chinese. And thirdly, yes, high-level communications and diplomatic behind-the-scenes dialogues were also adopted. So the critics who are crying foul and saying we lost territory and that they will never leave and all that, they have to now, accept with the humble pie, eat humble pie, because you need a multi-pronged strategy to deal with a very, very formidable challenger like China. You can't simply, just do bravado and say, yeah, we will fight them, we'll fight a war. No, we were never interested in fighting a war. Our strategy was always to restore our territorial integrity and to make sure the Chinese understand our red lines. So I think that was the point of this. We used disproportionate counter responses, and at the same time, I think our alliances, our global partnerships, all these help, because remember, Shivani, we mobilized so many countries and people saw merit in our argument, not the Chinese argument. So many countries came to publicly issued statements condemning what the Chinese are doing. So all that matters because the Chinese realize the costs of crossing hairs with India is rather high. So that was the point, they cannot get away doing this. So I think they have realized that they're dealing with a very, very strong government, a country of 1.3 billion people, which has got mass support of the population. The Chinese have been observing how much nationalist sentiment has risen in India, and they were wary of this because they know that if at all they go for war, they're going to really be taught a lesson. So I think they have now realized that slowly, but they
also,
want to save face.
Rightly, as you were mentioning, Sriram, India has obviously adopted a multi-pronged strategy, and I think the economic message that has also gone to China and the support from various countries coming in, the entire movement building against China and against his policies has had an impact as well. Saurabh Shukla of newsmobile.in is also joining us. Gentlemen, stay with me. We have to slip into a very short break. On the other side, coming right back to you. And Saurabh Shukla continue to be with us, breaking down more of the perspective as far as the latest disengagement plan, a complete disengagement at the line of actual control, as it being called, after talks between NSA Doval and Chinese foreign minister are coming to the fore. Saurabh Shukla, how do you read at this? This is really, in many ways, India's victory against an expansionist China.
I would say that this has been the victory of India's firm-footed strategy, because China was clearly told that India was working on all fronts, be it military, strategic, diplomatic, economic, and they will not get cowed down by China's bullying. The fact that India has effectively called out China's bullying also sends a larger message to the world that India, as a strong and vibrant democracy, will take on any bullying from any quarters when it comes to violating its sovereignty. Having said that, I must tell you here that the clear and present danger still exists from China. We should not be complacent. While India was never wanting to get into a war situation or a conflict situation with China, it was China's doing. While that may have been averted, but we should not let our guard down. When it comes to China, we should continue to sustain pressure, be it on the economic front, be it on the diplomatic front, also making sure that in case of China, it's not trust and verify. It should be don't trust and continue to verify. That should be our dictum when it comes to making sure that we continue a strong vigil on the line of actual control. Also keep a strong vigil on the economic front, because the squeeze on the Chinese companies is hurting China, and China will continue. We have to realize that the paradigm of China-India relationship has changed post what happened on June 15-16. That cannot be reversed back. We have to make sure from here on our strategy should factor in very clearly that we will not be complacent, we will not buckle down, we will continue to engage on one front, but we have to realize that you have an adversary in your neighborhood. China is not a friend, and it will not be a friend. You can manage that relationship, but don't expect China to change tack. It will continue to prick you. So India should continue on a policy where they should be watchful, where they should be vigilant, and continue to sustain this pressure on China in the times to come as well.
All right. Colonel Dini is also joining us. Saurabh, I'm going to continue to come back to you. Colonel Dini is joining us. How do you look at this? This is a climb down from China, blinking by China, a clear victory for India. Colonel Dini, how do you look at this?
I look at it as, it's an extremely positive step. There's no doubt that, and it's I've been saying from day one that the status quo will be restored in all these places, including Pangong Tso. So I will, at this moment, to call it a victory, and we must just be a little more cautious about that. But definitely, India's strong posturing has definitely paid off. There's no doubt in that, but we still are in a process of disengagement. So I think we should just let it go step by step, and then, as the previous speakers were mentioning, we have to be cautious at each step. And I'm sure that people on ground are extremely, if we sitting outside are so cautious about it, trust me, the people on ground will be extra cautious in when they're dealing this disengagement process. So as of now, I think we should look at it as an extremely positive step, in a step which was which was expected, because of the kind of the strong measures measures and messages both which India had conveyed to the Chinese. I think it's an extremely positive step.
Absolutely. Let's break down once again the details that we're gathering. Sriram, a complete disengagement, that unilaterally there will be no a change of LAC to be attempted, which is perhaps what China was attempting to do. That status quo is going to be maintained and it will not be altered, that both sides will continue to work together to avoid the kind of incident that has happened. Of course, it was a historic incident that took place at Galwan Valley, the first of its kind in 50 years between India and China, even though there were no firearms used, but some more traditional arms used in that fight. And of course, that both countries will continue to work together to ensure that no peace and tranquility is disturbed in the border areas. Sriram, I want you to also take forward from what both Saurabh and Colonel Dini have said, that while India will remain cautious, and perhaps it has opened our eyes in many ways, because the trust that we thought that we had with the Chinese, or the bonhomie or the camaraderie and the cooperation is going to be on one side. But do you think that India will relent at all as far as its new economic vision is concerned? Because that economic vision is not connected just to China. That is also tying in with the Atmanirbhar campaign of the government.
Well, I think we will work towards reducing the trade deficit with China for sure. And I think the Chinese are going to look at us with renewed respect for all the mockery and the taunting that their propaganda outlets are doing. at the highest levels of the Communist Party in China, they're going to look at us with new respect because we did not succumb. You know, they have browbeaten countries like Philippines and suborned them to serve their interests in the last few years. They occupied lots of maritime terrain in the South China Sea and beyond, and have been, establishing new fait accomplis, new normals, where they redraw the maps and then they say, now get lost, this now belongs to us. We did not get lost. We are making sure that they step back, So I think this shows that India is actually an example now and a hope for all the countries in the region. Shivani, we have a big economy, like you rightly said, we have demand. Our Prime Minister saying the large market that we have is a leverage that we have to play as a card for geopolitical bargaining. So that has also worked this time, because the Chinese are realizing it's not only 59 apps, infrastructure projects, access $55 billion worth of exports of China at a time when the global
Not to forget,
economy is down and they need each and every export market. So so we have basically shown our strength.
Not to forget, several independent companies, Sriram, are taking a call to downgrade or sever their ties with China as far as some of their materials are concerned. So it's not just the fact that the government is acting, it's also, I think, that the common public in India is very angry with China, and perhaps China is understanding, despite their diatribes on Twitter about hyper-nationalism. Let me go across to our executive editor, Abhishek Kapoor, once again. Abhishek, break down the latest statement and what makes this different from what we have heard in the past.
Well, Shivani, as I see it, what the most crucial takeaway from my understanding of this statement is that the sanctity of the LAC has been restored. Status quo ante would be restored in an expeditious and time-bound manner, and also that there would be no attempt in future to unilaterally disturb the LAC as it exists on the ground. So I think these are very important takeaways. And as Sriram Chaulia was explaining, the Chinese Communist Party has got a message, and indeed the Chinese people at large, that India has resolved to make sure that we stand and stare down their bullying. Prime Minister, by visiting Leh and Nimu and addressing the soldiers from there and saying Veer Bhogya Vasundhara, sent across a message that this deployment that the Chinese are seeing is backed by a political resolve and backed by national resolve. And then, in coordination, we saw certain movements in South China Sea, about which we have been reporting since morning. So it could not have happened coincidentally. It seems the Chinese have understood that their bullying, their rowdyism, their going rogue is not being liked by anyone in the world. And the fact that this has happened in the backdrop of China being the spreader-in-chief of COVID clearly had the world on its nerves in terms of tolerating these shenanigans from the Chinese. So I believe multiple messaging, as you remember when we were live together on the day the Prime Minister's visit, that Prime Minister's address has multiple messages to India, to the soldiers, to China and to the world. And I think it has worked, culminating with these talks that happened yesterday. And as I said, my most important takeaway, that the sanctity of the LAC has been restored.
Yes. This is, of course, a long-term issue, dispute, as it is called often, as far as the border situation is concerned. India has also, Saurabh, for example, mentioned that China doesn't really want to solve these border issues, because that's what it uses, really, the non-permanence of it, to kind of keep coming forward and try to poke its neighbors. Do you think that finally what has worked in India's favor also is the fact that there has been a resolve on the defense side as well? We have tried to procure, make sure our backlogs are clear, make sure that our procurement is sound and quick. Yeah, go ahead.
China, two things which have really worked and China has buckled down is, one, that India has crossed the strategic restraint which it had for years when it came to China. India never crossed that, but China has forced India to do that. Second, obviously the firm political and the national resolve, and obviously the third thing is the resolve of the Indian people. this is not about India sending out a message by banning just 59 Chinese apps, but you spoke about the fact that the national upsurge, and I can tell you, it should not stop, because make no mistake about it, China is a country which is known to play with deceit. So don't think they may be, having this temporary, ceasefire, but they will come back to you, because they continue to, consider India as a key adversary in Asia and also in globe, because India being a democracy, it's a vibrant democracy, it's a very important market, it is important pillar, a pivot of access of democracies across the globe. So China will continue to prick us. We have to keep our guard up. We have to continue. We don't want any war, but we will make sure that in all levels, now that we have sustained this pressure, we should not let this pressure slip away. This is something which should be a national resolve, because I know that at the highest level, the Prime Minister obviously is leading from the front, but there are various levers within the government which tend to weaken sometimes. I don't want that this should be weakened in any way, and that should mean on the strategic level, on military level, on economic level, and also at the larger national consciousness level.
Right. Colonel Dilly, militarily speaking, of course, as the talks continue, and also the fact that now there is a greater understanding, would it be safe to say that India would be on a very, will be in a state of alert and will be watching the movements very closely? Militarily speaking, not much will change, at least soon.
Absolutely. We will be on our guard. There is no doubt. We always are on our guard. And from a very long time, I've been advocating that this particular conflict itself has happened because India stood, firmly on the LAC, opposing the Chinese move, to unilaterally change the status of the line of actual control. So number one. Number two, I must say that the era of salami slicing is over. Those kind of thing is a thing of past now. It can never happen, and especially after such a event like what the incident like what all happened in this particular crisis, that era is over. So that but along the line of actual control, to get the trust back, I don't know, whether it is going to happen in some time now. So there will be issues. I'm sure as we go ahead, there has to be some mechanism in place so that both the armies, when they come for patrolling and all, the contact is as minimum as possible, so that these kind of conflicts do not come up again. So that also is something which we have to look in the future. But definitely, things will not be the same again, as far as India-China policy, India-China relations are concerned. Itself, I'm sure, like many people say, that it will be now seen as, pre-2020, June 2020 and post-June 2020. And in the post-June 2020, along the line of actual control, you will find that, there'll be increased focus. Absolutely, there'll be, no question of any kind of, even a small bit of activities which will not go unnoticed. I think everything will be now under the scanner, and I think that's the way it should be.
Right. Has a new benchmark been set as far as not just how India has dealt with China and in how India will continue to deal with China, but also perhaps how other countries will now look to deal with China? We have to slip into a very short break. On the other side, we'll try and discuss this point further with our guests. Stay tuned.